Blessings to the Most High, Yahweh. Blessings to the universe. Blessings to the ancestors. Blessings to the Yeshua consciousness. Thank you for joining me. I'm Magnetic Intuition, and I'm here to tell you that you need to question everything. The system, your food, your water, the financial system, the news, everything needs to be questioned. You have free will. You can think how you want to think. But the problem with the cults, the devil worshippers, the Satanists, the Luciferians, whatever you want to call them, they have a problem with you. If you're not for the lie, they want to shut down the truth. You have an option. You're either going to be on the light side or the dark side. Choose one. But I recommend you being on the truth. Your creator was truth. Yeshua was truth. You seen what happened to him, aka Jesus. You seen what happened to him. They wanted to shut him down because he was going around telling the truth. So I'll tell y'all, question everything that comes in your path. You have people that want to destroy you if you're for the light. If you're for the dark, then you won't have that much trouble, right? So let's get into it. Let's dig in deep into this one, right? So let's talk about the food, for instance. Now, as you know, and if you don't know, a lot of the conventional foods are sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, and over time, when you consume these foods, they cause diverse effects, different diseases, different cancers, viruses, depending on what type of food it is, And it's always best to try not to cook your food all the time. If you could eat without cooking your food, that's the best way to go, first and foremost, Eating more organic would be the solution, right? But as we know, like I said, you got to question everything, because everything that we see that's tagged with organic doesn't necessarily mean that it is organic, Where the mouth is, companies are paying to have their foods listed as organic and non-GMO. So, we just got to be aware. For instance, seedless grapes. It's a no-go. No-go. Watermelons with no seeds. Seedless watermelons. It's a no-go. Right? Everything must have seeds in it. Must be original. Must be original. But I'll tell you this. I would rather you eat a seedless watermelon and a seedless grape than eat pork. Like, it's just more natural. Even though the seedless fruits are GMO, it's still better than eating pork. Pork is going to work hard in your body, You're eating a pig that doesn't even sweat. So you can imagine how much toxins you're consuming in your body, And with pork, there was a scene in the Malcolm X movie where they actually took it out. Like, they took it out the movie. They told Spike Lee to take it out the movie because they didn't want black people or people in general to even have the knowledge that pig is like the worst thing to eat, And that's why even in the Muslim religions, they banned pork, And that's for a really good reason, It's like the bottom of the pit, You want to stay high vibrational, right? So focus on eating more high vibrational foods. Sorry, I can't talk today. But yeah, focus on trying to eat in the high vibrational foods. First comes the fruits and vegetables, foods that are not cooked. That's number one. Then number two, you want to eat cooked food, to make sure it's coming from a plant-based food. And then after that, if you decide to eat meat, get it organic. I don't eat meat personally. I'm vegan. Been vegan for about 2013, about 12 years now. So that's the number one thing I recommend. I'm gonna make a video about that, by the way. Just reminding myself. But question everything. Question the financial system, right? If you're in stocks or you're in cryptocurrency, it's rigged. I'm in cryptocurrency. I have a video talking about how the secret society stole a lot of my crypto, right? But I'm still in it. I still have some. I'm still in it. But at the end of the day, you have to know what you're getting yourself into. I got into cryptocurrency during the COVID-19 when everything dropped, and it was like that was the perfect time to buy, right? And you're still gonna have your ups and downs. You're gonna have your bull runs and your bear runs. Your bear market, which is gonna be like when the market's like down, and then your bull run when everything goes up, and that's when you don't want to buy. That's when you want to sell, right? But things are rigged. I think we should know that. I think we should question everything. Everything that you run into, just question it. If you get a contract, read it. Take your time to read it. So I talked about the financial system, even your banks, right? You got to question your banks. Like, what are they not telling you? If you know about man, the straw man. If you know about the straw man, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't know, look into it. Just type in the straw man on Google, and some videos will pop up. They even have books on it, and that's a little deeper. I'm gonna have to get into that like later on in the future, But there's videos people have on YouTube about the straw man, and how we're literally like owned by corporations, because your full name, if it's in caps, all caps, then you're more or less like a business, an entity, that's owned by the U.S. government, right? Okay. So look into that. That's one thing I want to say. Look into that. Question everything, right? I mentioned the food, the financial system. Let's talk about the water. So, I'm a big time water lover, right? I drink so much water every day, it's ridiculous. I do water fast at least twice a week, So, and when I say that, I'm talking about like 24-hour water fast, one day at a time, like at least 2 a week, right? So, currently I'm working on a 3-day water fast, 24-hour water fast. I'm sorry, 3 days. So that's what's that? That's 72 hours, right? 72 hours, 3 days, water fast with no food, just water. If you want to add lemon to it, that's fine, If you want to add something to it, that's fine. Tea, that's fine, right? But we definitely have to question our water system, right? Because the fluoride is in it. What does fluoride do to us? Fluoride is like a poison. That's basically rat poisoning. It's used for rat poisoning. So just imagine that's in your water, right? And of course, you could taste the chlorine in it. You could taste other things that are in the water that's coming through the pipes, right? Because the water, when it's coming through the pipes, of course, it's pulling minerals and toxins out the pipes, right? So that's why, the whole thing with water, water, water from the store, right? Bottled water, right? That's a scam right there, man. That's a scam in itself, you know. When I'm on the road, I have to drink bottled water, all right? But when I'm at home, I find a water store or even one of those water, what are they called? Those water tunnel things. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Where you could just drive up and get water, or from Whole Foods or Walmart. You know, I recommend those, you know, to stay away from the plastics, all right? Because now you got the plastics leaching into your bloodstream, right? And that can change hormones in itself, you know? So you just want to be aware of these things. Just question everything, like I mentioned. Yeah. Religion, you must question religion, right? If you're born into a religion, why not try like experimenting with other religions, you know? At least like read up on it, listen to it on YouTube. You know, we have a lot of technology nowadays, you know? So I mean, it's open. It's open. If you know somebody in other religions, ask them about their religion, you know, learn about their religion, you know? Because at the end of the day, as far as me being a so-called black man, you know, in my lineage, my ancestors were slaves at one point, you know? So, obviously, depending on where you lived at, you were shipped to another country, like America, right? Or if you're living in Africa, or you're living in the Middle East, or you're living in Asia, and whoever was your slave master, they had their religion set up for you. And that religion wasn't your ancestor's choice. It was a slave owner's choice. So just keep that in mind. So just, you know, look into things, question everything, as I mentioned. The news, right? The news is another source you gotta really question. I think that might be number one. Because that's where you get all your information if you watch the news, right? Because before YouTube, there was newspapers. Before technology, right, there was newspapers. And then you had the news, which were working in the same, right? Whoever owns the news companies most likely owned the newspapers as well. So they always controlled the narrative on what's going on. And like I mentioned, if you live in most countries like the US, who controls all of this? The satanic, Luciferian, devil worshipping societies, right? Illuminati, Freemasonry, Eastern Stars, Bones and Skulls. And then you move on, you go. There's more out there, of course. But I don't need to even talk about that, you know? Because if you question everything and do your research, you're going to run into the information you need. So I think I covered some of the things that you need to question. But everything you do, whatever you do, any advice someone gives you, question it. How do you know if they have the best interest for you? How do you know that people are not trying to set you up? You don't know unless you question it, right? You're going to do your own research, you know? But for the most part, you want to stay positive. You want to stay high vibrational. You want to be respectful to people, you know? Because someone just might be genuinely trying to help you, you know? But you must question everything, you know? You must. If it's not God, you might want to question it. Much love and respect. God bless you. I'm coming out with more videos, so I'm gonna try to stay consistent. I've been working overnight, so I've been trying to like really get adjusted, but I'm gonna get back into it. I got more videos coming. God bless y'all. Stay blessed. One love.